The Chargers have shown interest in a lot of draft prospects so far, and today we are going to go through a lot of them. We're not going to get to all of them today because there's a ton, but we do have some very highly rated cornerbacks, some linebackers as well. And if you wanted the Chargers to draft an offensive lineman highly, like in the first round, then I might have some good news for you. So make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content, bro. It helps me out so much. And let's start off with this Alabama Pro Day. Because as you can see right here, that is Mike Devlin, the Chargers offensive line coach, putting some work in with JC Latham, okay? He's touching him up, seeing how we can get into his two-point stance. He is doing some extra work with JC. And if you don't know JC Latham, he is the right tackle from Alabama. This dude has all of the size that you want. 6'6", 342 pounds, but not only that, he is extremely athletic. He is so quick as well in his pass protection. He kicks back really well in his pass pro set, and also on top of that, he's able to anchor very well. So he has that quickness to get a lot of depth, but also he's not going to give up much ground once he gets all of that depth because he is so big, so strong, and he's also extremely physical. This guy's an athletic freak, man. He is a tone setter that you want out there at your right tackle position. And a lot of guys, because, you know, we're Chargers fans, so we look back and we think, okay, really big, physical right tackle from Alabama, DJ Fluker. This is not DJ Fluker at all. They are not similar prospects. I like JC Latham a lot, and he would fit extremely well in Greg Roman's zone run heavy offense. And obviously the Chargers are interested in him. I'm not saying that they're going to draft him. I mean, they're probably still interested in other offensive linemen in that range too, like Taliese Fuanga and Joe Alt even. They're interested in a ton of guys because there's a lot of really good players. But it is worth noting that they went out and sent their offensive line coach in order to get this work in with JC Latham. So the traits that JC Latham has, we know for sure that the Chargers are interested in. And if they do end up drafting him, I think it would be in a trade down scenario, and they would be doing it at number 11 overall with the Vikings trade, because we all know that would be the trade down. But not only did they send Mike Devlin, the offensive line coach, to the Alabama Pro Day, they also sent Steve Clinkscale. He's the defensive backs coach for us, and we all know who he is looking at, okay? Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry. But I said just yesterday that if the traits that Kristian Fulton has is consistent with what they want in a draft prospect at the cornerback position, that Terrion Arnold would be number one on their board. And they are sending their DB coach to the Alabama Pro Day to see Terrion Arnold up close and in person. I think that he is the guy that they would want over everybody. But also don't count out Kool-Aid McKinstry as well. I'm sure they're interested in him because these guys are both pretty similar prospects. They're both very aggressive. Kool-Aid McKinstry as well is an extreme athlete. I think he's like 6 foot. Let me check how big he is. Kool-Aid McKinstry is 6 foot, 200 pounds. Terrion Arnold, 6 foot, 190. They both ran in the 4.5s. They're both very physical. They're both great athletes, really fluid in their hips, which is exactly what you want in a cornerback on the outside. I think they are looking at both of these guys, and if they draft Terrion Arnold, it would be in that trade down scenario at 11. I could honestly even see them picking Terrion Arnold at 5. I know that's kind of crazy, but they might fall in love with him. And also, if they get Kool-Aid McKinstry, it would be at 23 in that trade down scenario with the Vikings. Or if he lasts until the second round, I think that would be a really great draft pick. That would be awesome value. Another guy that the Chargers are really interested in, Brenden Rice, the wide receiver from USC. Now, I love this because I'm a USC fan, and listen to what he said in this interview.
It's going to be amazing. I just had my visit with them. I love the coaching staff. I love who they are. Jim Harbaugh used to recruit me out of high school, and shoot, I feel as though I would be great within that system. They're a snot-nosed type of team that's going to give it to you each down and out.
So he loves the coaching staff, loves Jim Harbaugh, and he loves the idea of running the football down the defense's throat and asserting your dominance against them. This is a Harbaugh dude just from him saying that. He also said that the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Lions have been the teams that are most interested in him He's the son of Jerry Rice, if you didn't know that. He also, listen, this guy's a very clutch player. I don't know if a lot of you guys watched USC this past season, but he was always the guy that was making the play at the perfect time. And he is really good after the catch as well. He's got some yak ability. He's really good at high pointing the ball as well. I think he's like 6'2", 200 pounds. I think he ran a 4.5. Yeah, he did. He ran a 4.5 flat, and he's 6'2", 208 pounds. This guy's got size. He's got athleticism. I mean, I think he made Bruce Feldman's freak list this past season. So again, we're looking at the guys that the Chargers are interested in. Every single one of them have all of these traits. They have really good size and really good athleticism. So this tells me, as of right now, just throughout this video so far, that that is what they prioritize. And they are fine with someone coming in who's a little bit rusty, like, you know, both of those Alabama cornerbacks. They can be a little bit rusty with their hands at times. They can be too physical. They are banking on their coaching staff to develop the players. They just want the biggest, the toughest, and the most athletic players. That's what it's looking like so far. And also, they sent Kiel McDonald, the running backs coach, to the USC Pro Day. This is funny because he was actually the USC running backs coach this past season. So he's basically going there to look at his own guy in Marshawn Lloyd. And he was asked what teams said they like most about him. Guess what? Speed and size. Again, this lines up perfectly with all of these prospects. They all have these things in common, the speed and the size. Marshawn Lloyd, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He did struggle with fumbling the ball a little bit, but I wanted USC to use him more often because he was so shifty. He's got really good vision. At times, he can be a little bit inconsistent with the vision, but he is so explosive. And in a running back by committee situation, if he gets drafted into a situation like that, I think he would be a very, very good piece. And I think it's worth noting, because not a lot of people talk about this, that USC offensive line was so bad. And Marshawn Lloyd was really good at breaking tackles, really good at finding holes and finding gaps that he can run through in order to get yardage. This guy is going to find a way to get yards when there aren't any there. So Marshawn Lloyd, to me, is higher on my board than a lot of other people's boards, to be honest with you. I am a USC fan, so take that into account. But I am very high on Marshawn Lloyd, and the Chargers are too if they're sending out their running backs coach to the USC Pro Day. Now, also something that's very interesting, Keenan Allen was at the USC Pro Day as well. Now, obviously, he's not on the Chargers anymore. We traded him to the Bears. It still hurts, but Caleb Williams is QB1. He's going to be drafted by the Bears. The Bears general manager and everybody was out there. So Keenan Allen meeting up with Caleb Williams. They're going to be teammates very soon in Chicago. Bro, I hope Keenan Allen crushes it out there, because I want Caleb Williams to do well. I also want Keenan Allen to do well. Let him do well in Chicago. They're an NFC team. Who cares? Now, the last guy we're going to talk about is Braden Fiske. He's a defensive tackle from Florida State. There was a report that he met with the Chargers recently, and this is a guy who a lot of people were saying is going to go third, fourth round. I think he's going to end up in the second round just because, again, he's an extreme athlete, and this guy's probably the best athlete out of all of the guys that I've talked about so far in this video. He has an extremely good RAS score. I mean, some of the best of any defensive tackles. His size might be an issue because he's 6'4", 292. He doesn't meet that 300-pound, like 305-pound threshold that the Michigan defensive linemen were, and that Jim Harbaugh, I think, likes, and Jesse Minter likes. But he's an extremely good athlete. He's so quick, so fast in the middle, and he's like a sideline to sideline player at the defensive tackle position. That is so rare. He's so explosive up the middle, and he can provide you with a lot of pass rush. Now, the things that he can work on, his hand usage, and also sometimes his pad level. He needs to get a little bit lower, get some more leverage. But dude, the agility, the quickness, the explosiveness up the middle, and the sideline to sideline ability as a defensive lineman at almost 300 pounds. It's just something that is really enticing. And obviously, another great athlete that they want to bring in if they draft him. It would be in the second round, I think. And they are banking on their coaches being able to coach him up. So those are some of the players that the Chargers have met with at Pro Days and they're interested in. If you didn't see my video yesterday, they also might sign this cornerback in free agency. Maybe they already did by the time I'm making this video.